Welcome to Cloud Auto Service. We have heard your feedback and have made many quality of life changes to the labor guide to make it as easy to use as possible. This will be a full, detailed video going over the labor guide in depth. If you already are generally familiar with how to use the system, I recommend skipping forward to the section you are interested in learning about using the timestamps in this video's description or by hovering your mouse over the timeline bar of the video. You can access the labor guide in two different ways. The first and less common use of the labor guide is by clicking on the motor button in the open work order screen located here. From here, you can go ahead and enter in the year, make, and model of the vehicle that you are trying to search labor guide information for. Or if you already have an open work order for the vehicle, you can select it, and then we will search the year, make, and model for you. Option 2 for accessing the labor guide is the revise screen. This is the screen you see every time you are creating a work order for a vehicle, and the screen you go to anytime you want to add a can job. Once in the revise screen, navigate to the all other button in the bottom right corner, click on it, and the pop-up window will display the contents of the entire labor guide. The most common use case for the labor guide is to add labor and parts to a vehicle you are working on. It's important for a shop to be able to get accurate labor time and parts information, which is why we partner with Motor to give you the most up-to-date information directly from the manufacturer. To start, we can either find the labor we are looking for manually using the list of available types of labor on the left side, or what I recommend is much easier to just search for the labor in question using our labor guide search bar on the right. We spent a lot of time handcrafting AI to assist in the search process to find the exact labor that you are looking for. For example, if we are trying to replace the oil pan for this vehicle, I can simply type in the words oil pan, and it will automatically bring up oil pan R&R in the list of our results. Here we click the results and we see oil pan R&R narrowed down on the left side. We click it, and from here, we can see a list of multiple different variations of an oil pan R&R based on different qualifiers such as engine and submodel of the vehicle. We know that this vehicle, for example, is using the 1.5 liter engine, so we will select add labor to the row that matches the exact vehicle we are working on. From here, the labor guide automatically takes us to a list of OEM parts that are available for this specific labor type. Sometimes there will only be one part available, other times there will be multiple. It just depends on the type of labor and manufacturer of the vehicle. To use this OEM part for the vehicle, simply click on the part you want, and you can see it added to the list of parts above. From here, we know that along with a new oil pan, we will need a new gasket for that oil pan. So we can also add the gasket to our list of parts as well, located below. As you see, we now have one line of labor located at the top right of the screen and two lines of parts for this job. If you would like to make any adjustments to the selected labor, you can do so at the top right and adjust either the time it will take to perform the labor or the price you want to charge the customer for performing the labor. You can also adjust the information of the parts by clicking the Edit button on the part in question and change the information to fit what you want. To save the parts and labor to your job, simply click the green Save Job and Close button, and you can see the parts and labor have been added to our itemization list in the top right. If you are ever working on an unfamiliar part or vehicle, seeing a detailed diagram of the area in question is always useful. With our Motor partnership, we are able to provide detailed component location diagrams for virtually any type of labor. To access this feature, simply search the labor in question. For this example, I will search up a water pump for this vehicle. I select the water pump R&R from this screen, and you will see multiple green buttons at the bottom. These are all the additional diagrams and information that you can use to assist you in the completion of the job at hand. Simply select the list of labor that best matches the parameters of the vehicle by selecting the checkbox on the right. Then navigate to the Component Locations button. From here, you will see a list that our handcrafted AI suggests may be useful for the labor type in question. Water pump is a fairly universal term for a specific type of labor, so we only see two results here, separated by the different submodels of the vehicle. We can select the submodel we want, and then we can click on the component location diagram button, and this will take us to a full detailed diagram of the engine components that have anything to do with a water pump. Feel free to print this out, that way you can have it on hand while you're working on the labor in question. Thanks to Motor, we are also able to supply you with the exact fluids that the factory recommends for every area of a vehicle. Just like last time, in our example, we will search up water pump R&R and select that labor. Select the engine and attributes that best match your vehicle in question by clicking on the checkbox located on the right side like so, and then navigate to the green Fluids Required button. Similar to the component locations, we grab all fluids that have some similarity to a water pump R&R. In this case, our AI knows you are looking for engine coolant. We select the row based on the submodel of our vehicle by clicking View Details, and we can see here that this vehicle takes 5.4 quarts or 5.1 liters of coolant for this engine. If you want to use the OEM suggested coolant and amount, simply select the row of coolant you want to use and add it to your list of parts, as well as print out a hard copy of the information so you have it on hand when it comes time to fill the loop back up. Sometimes you only need to replace a single section of a more complex part. Let's say, for instance, you just need to replace an O-ring for the pipe that connects the water pump to this vehicle's turbo. Well, we can find that part thanks to Motor by searching up the same example of water pump R&R and then select the labor. From here, we'll go ahead and find the vehicle that matches our engine and attribute type. Select the checkbox and then navigate to Parts Required. This page will show us all the individual OEM supplied parts that have anything to do with the water pump. We can scroll through this until we find our O-ring that we are looking for, and we can select that part to add it to our list of parts for this job. We automatically apply the price and quantity that the manufacturer suggests, but feel free to edit this information to your liking by clicking on the Edit Info button on the right side of the part added. Once you are happy with the parts and labor for this job, simply click the green Save and Close Job button to save your labor and parts for this job. When working on a complex part for a vehicle, it is always handy to have a detailed schematic of how the part is assembled and where those parts attach to the vehicle. Thanks to Motor, you are able to get that information. Let's search up our trusty example of a water pump R&R. We'll go ahead and select the labor in question. Select the labor that matches our vehicle's engine and attributes by clicking the checkbox on the right, and then navigate to Parts Illustrations. Select the vector illustration that best matches your vehicle's attributes. Then you can go ahead and open up the diagram. From here, you can see a blown up illustration of this vehicle's water pump with convenient number mapping that correlates with all the parts that go into this area of labor listed at the bottom. Please feel free to print this out and have a hard copy for whenever you're working on the component in question. Service procedures help keep you safe while performing your job by providing step-by-step instructions of how to perform the job in question, as well as factory recommended torque specifications. To access service procedures, let's pull up the labor in question. For this example, we will search up an alternator R&R. Select the alternator R&R option, and then select the row that best fits the vehicle's engine and attributes by checking the checkbox on the right, and then navigate to Service Procedures. As you can see, We have multiple service procedures to choose from. Service procedures can vary depending on the submodel of the vehicle, so we provide all potentially relevant information to you, including a drive belt R&R, since every alternator replacement also requires the removal of the drive belt. From here, you can select View Document for the procedure that best fits the scenario and see a step by step list detailing the recommended procedure path along with torque specs and illustrations to assist in the labor. Please feel free to print out these illustrations. That way, you have a hard copy on hand while you're performing the job. Wiring is probably the least enjoyable part of working on any vehicle. Luckily, thanks to Motor, we are able to make it a little more bearable for you by providing detailed in color wiring diagrams. To access the wiring diagrams, let's go ahead and search up the labor we are going to perform, such as an instrument panel, R&R. Select the section that best applies to your vehicle via engine and attribute type by checking the checkbox and then navigate to the wiring diagrams button in the bottom left. Here you will see multiple possible diagrams to choose from. We provide information for all possibly relevant wiring diagrams that pertain to the labor you selected. Let's say, for instance, you would like to see a diagram of the driver's junction box. We would then select the instrument section, narrow our results down even further from here to specifically show the junction box. From here, you can see a colored diagram showing the wiring path of each section that pertains to the junction box. And please, as always, feel free to print this out so you have a hard copy on hand. Hopefully, this in-depth video guide helped you better utilize our labor guide tools. We are always striving to make our services as best as possible and are constantly updating and adding to the service based off of your feedback. If you ever find something that you don't like, have a suggestion to add, or adjust a feature to what you want, or simply just have a question on how to use the software, please feel free to contact us anytime using the email or phone number shown in the open work order screen.